Hello everyone, welcome to a DSP video. We are going to talk about his Patreon because it's going to be more relevant more than ever now. But let's just talk about his Patreon the way it is now before he changes it. But let's take a look at where he's sitting at. He is sitting at 71 patrons with $565 per month. Um, It's also worth to note that some of these are also instant charged. Once you pledge to his Patreon, uh, you'll get charged immediately. Then you'll be being charged once a month, pretty much. Excuse me. So let's just get into his rewards, so that we can kind of like talk about all this stuff, right? So for $5, patrons who donate $5 or more a month will receive an exclusive forum title and section to post in on my website, thegamemade.com. In addition, you'll be included in the nomination/voting process when Twitch channel subscriber milestones are hit. I don't know why I can't just say Twitch sub goals, whatever. Which is now irrelevant because he can't do these anymore, so that's cool. You will be a part of the decision process on what gets played during multiple events. In the past, these have included Patron's Choice, game playthroughs, which games that I play during mini marathons, and more, etc. Which isn't even true when he had Twitch sub goals. But these will be relevant again once he does Patreon goals again. This is a recurring perk. It will happen once a month for as long as you remain a $5 patron, and you'll receive all the perks below this level as well. Also, even with the Patreon goals, see, this is how DSP used to do his Patreon goals, which is really, really dumb. The way he would do it was that he would have a solid goal. At the time, it was it was 1250 for a while. Then he lowered it to like 11 something, but I'll say 1250 for the sake of it. So let's say 1250, $1,250 that that he's asking to hit, right? So he would do that for 1 month, and then the following month it would be the same amount, 1,250. Now, the thing that is so dumb about this is that he makes it. He wants you to think that this is just so that you want to support DSP. You want to support him, so you would go to his Patreon for that. But the way he sets up his goals, the way that he sells these goals, is that you are pretty much pledging to his Patreon to hit the goal, and then once that goal is hit, you're gonna bounce pretty much. So that's why every month would be the same goal. Every Patreon you will see on patreon.com, anyone's Patreon that they have, they try to make goals so that, it's like, hey, we want to hit this level. Okay, we hit this level. Okay, now let's move on to the next level that you want to hit. Which is like oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Which is like kind of the goal that you want to entice them to keep, you want to keep moving people to continue pledging to begin with. So for example, he could have the 1250 goal hit, let's say for 1 month. Then he would just say, have that 1250 goal be a monthly event, like a monthly marathon or whatever. And then he could have the next goal be like, okay, viewer's choice, and then like whatever, have it be a rolling event every month. But he wants these events to be a one-time deal, and then you have to pledge the same amount again to hit it, which makes no sense. His Patreon, the way he runs it is so like before he went to Twitch. I mean, and I'm assuming he's gonna try to run it the same way. It is such a headache that it doesn't make sense how he wants to run it. And if let's say that he wants to make it so that okay, he hits the 1250 goal, then he make a new goal for the following month that's more money, let's say, it would just be the same kind of goal. So it would then become like either the current people who are pledging would either have to double their goal, to double the amount, or increase their amount to pledge to hit the next goal for the same goal that they hit before that was 1250, and now you have to, you see how much of an issue that his Patreon that would have naturally. Like if you want the goal to be like 1250 and you want that to be a surviving amount, have that just be the end game amount that you're asking for, and saying, hey, if we maintain 1250 every month, it is what it is. So let's say he did it this month, right? Let's say he does 1250 for this month. He hits the goal, yippee. The following month, keep it 1250, don't change it, and entice people to stay pledged. And then they could just either pledge again, or they'll just keep their pledge going, and he'll get the same amount the next month, and then the next month he'll hit the same amount, and he'll still do all these goals. That's like the point. If he wants to increase the amount, it has to be something better that would justify the amount that he's asking for. It's just, you really need to make goals for your Patreon that is a sustainable goal that you want to have. So, and the way that he describes it, we'll get into how he describes it once we go to the videos that I have queued up, but it's just the way he's gonna do these goals, I just don't think it's gonna really work. It's gonna be just a lot of him having to explain how it works, because the way that it would happen all the time in the past was that people would pledge for 1 month, then the following month people would just bounce. They would just leave. And they would have to either be convinced to pledge again, which is like, you don't want people to leave to just drop their pledge just because they don't want the goal. I mean, people drop their pledge for many reasons. People just say, hey, I can't sustain a monthly charge, I don't want, whatever. It is what it is. It's no one's really business to know why people want to drop their pledge, for example. But it's just, you want to entice something that you want people to keep coming back to, or whatever. You always get people that will pledge your Patreon because they genuinely want to support you, which is great, but you also want to make something that's more enticing for newcomers that they want to keep pledging for, that they want to believe in, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not running his Patreon for him. But I just think his goals, I think in the long term, if they're going to work the way they did in the past, I just don't think it's gonna be that sustainable unless he gets more people to just pledge without really caring about the goal, pretty much. Whatever, but it is what it is. Patrons who donate $10 or more a month, not only... By the way, the other thing I was gonna say about the $5 reward, it's debatable if it's even worth $5, if you ask me. I think it's on the edge of being like too much to ask for what you get, but a good amount. Now, DSP is going to tell us in videos that I've queued up that you shouldn't think about Patreon as a transaction. It's not a marketplace or whatever, but that's bullshit, because the whole point of having rewards is so that you entice people to pledge. If they want to support you, they're going to pledge regardless. That's that. I mean, if people want to support your content, they just like your content, they want to support you, they're always going to pledge to your Patreon or support you in however way they want to do it. That's fine. That's on them. People do whatever they want. But if you want to entice newcomers to go to your Patreon, it doesn't hurt to give good rewards. Half the people who I pledged to Patreon, I have pledged to Kanuko, who does the art for Indivisible, Skullgirls, I pledged to her. I pledged to her Patreon. I pledged to iFi. I mean, I used to plug these people all the time in old videos. And I also pledged to Meg64 and Studio Trigger. And a lot of their rewards are like good shit. Like a lot of stuff that I like what they offer. Kanuko just added a $5 reward where you get her Photoshop files, where you can kind of see her layers and all this kind of stuff that she works on, which is great because you get good reference and good source material to kind of look at her process and kind of see, get ideas, guys. But I do like that some of these rewards give you more of an incentive to pledge more because you're getting more out of it. But it's also like you're also in turn supporting your favorite content creator. You're already pledging to their Patreon. Sometimes people are like, hey, this $5 one's pretty good, I'm gonna increase it and give her more support and I get more out of it. It's a symbiotic kind of relationship that you want to nurture. That's kind of the point. Patreon is more of a way to either nurture people who want to support you, that want to support your content, keep you going, but it's also for you to kind of put some thought and effort into what you want to give them for their support, because it's kind of going off of this relationship of like appreciation, pretty much. Like, hey, you want to like show appreciation to people who pledge, you're gonna give these rewards. And I'll go over it again. This is gonna be a little bit of a redundancy, but it really is telling to me that DSP hates the idea of putting thought into what he wants to give you for pledging to his Patreon. Like, it is like a bet. Like, every time people say, well, I don't like the rewards, I want, like, better rewards to he's like, why should I think about that? The point of Patreon is to support me. Like, yeah, that's the point, but at the same time, you also have to kind of like put some thought into it, because that's kind of the relationship that Patreon kind of markets itself as. Like, you're supposed to put thought into what you want to give them as a thank you for supporting you. And the fact that he doesn't want to put any more thought into it than he has pretty much here, and the only thing he's thinking of is just adding multiplayer, is so like lazy. And then he keeps asking his fans, what do you want? And it's like, I started my own Patreon, obviously. I have my own Patreon, and every time I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking like, what should I do with these rewards? I always want to keep thinking about it, because I want something that's that's fair for both the person who's pledging and me who has to give out these rewards. I'm constantly like changing and tweaking these rewards. Some people even like shut down their Patreons for a while to reboot it to make better rewards. They just shut it down completely sometimes. DSP is never gonna do that. I've also seen, like, one of these people that I pledged to, there was a month where this person was saying like, look, I'm gonna take some time off from doing any work, so I'm just gonna shut down the ability to do a payout, pretty much. Like, she shut down for like the entire month the charge. So it's like you were so pretty much you weren't charged for the month of being a patron for her, which is like, I didn't even know that was a feature that Patreon offers, which is like, and I was looking at that, I was like, that's actually kind of cool to know that there is a feature that does that if you really want to take the month off, and whatever. It's a cool little feature that not a lot of people use, obviously, but it was nice that this person thought about that and did that. But yeah, every time when you're making a reward and you're running a Patreon, half the time you're thinking of is, how do I make these rewards work, and how can they be fair, and how can they be like enticing for people? Because if you just put like half-ass rewards, you're gonna get half-ass pledges, pretty much. I mean, you're just gonna get people who are either generally, you're either putting a lot of faith that your audience is gonna just support you just straight up, or that they're just not going to care about the rewards, which is like, I mean, you could think that, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't hurt to put some thought into your own Patreon. So the $10 one. Patrons who donate $10 more a month not only get all of the perks below this level, but will receive a verbal thank you shout out during ongoing vlog series, including Ask the King, Hate Live, and possibly more, as well as once a month live on stream, which he never did, by the way. He never did this. He used to. He did it for a while, actually, but then he just stopped doing it. Which is, he used to do like that Star Wars credit thing, that credit roll, whatever. He stopped doing that because he didn't have Adobe Premiere anymore, which is a very bullshit excuse, because there's so many cheap things that do credit rolls at this point, but whatever. Can't do it, dude. But he never did these shoutouts at all for his live stream, which is insane if you think about it. It's a recurring pledge. as long as you. So I guess either 0 people pledged to $10, but then again, you have some people who are $20 patrons at 50, but he never did this. Okay. Patrons who donate at least $20 a month will receive priority access for Ask the King. This means that every month when I produce Ask the King, there will be a special segment for $20 and above donators. They will have priority section to submit their questions on thekingfeed.com. I will answer any question posted there. Note, there will be guidelines established as to what kinds of questions can be asked. Typically, I do not want to discuss politics, religion, sex, etc., as those are hot topics that can tend to polarize the viewing audience. If you ever wanted a guarantee to get your question answered on Ask the King, this is it. This is a recurring pledge, blah, blah, blah. This one should be, like, as I said, all these goals should be, like, all these rewards should be decreased. This is a bullshit reward, honestly. Like, if you look between the $5 and $10, if you look at the $5, $10 one, right? Let's say you look at these two. Which one do you think is more worthwhile? The $5 one where you could vote and do all this stuff, or the one where all you get is a shout out? Like, it is such a, like, the $10 one is such bullshit. This should be $10. This should be $5. Like, this should just be included in the $5 reward, honestly. Or included in the Ask the King. Like, this makes no sense. And the 50 should be 20, maybe 30. Maybe. That's, like, kind of pushing it if you ask me. But these are, like, such, like, ridiculous rewards. And I've not seen a single Patreon that has this kind of, like, bullshit. I have not seen a single one. I have seen patrons, like, the ones I've pledged to, I've gotten better stuff for less. Mega64, for example, has a $2 reward where you get just access to, like, their friend dimension videos, their, videos that they have not released. You get access to, movie club, you get access to all this stuff. And then you go above that, you get, like, physical goods, you get, like, you might get, like, very, like, special rewards, whatever. I'm not gonna go through all their rewards. iFi has, like, a, $3, you get, like, access to all her art, pretty much, all her uncensored art, all that, her Discord. If you pledge more, I think you get access to, like, her Photoshop files, higher resolutions, all that kind of stuff. Studio Trigger actually is pretty good, but you can kind of tell that their Patreons is kind of there to be there. Like the little shout out to Studio Trigger. Their Patreon is literally to pay their animators, pretty much. Like, it's kind of like a, if you want to, like, tip their animators some more, that's why it exists. It goes into, like, their whole animation, like, department, pretty much, which is really, really cool if you think about it. I mean, I think they also get paid by, like, by the shows, all this stuff. But it's just, if you want to give them, like, a little bit more, you can. That's why they have only 2 reward tiers. A $1, and I think the other one is like a $5, I think. But the lowest is a $1 goal, which gives you access to all the art that they post, all that kind of stuff. Excuse me, which is kind of cool. I do like their Patreon. It's a little bit more, like, it's an interesting kind of thing. So check that out if you want. But yeah, all these patrons I have seen are not this, like, scummy. I'm sure there's worse. I'm sure there's worse out there. I'm not gonna necessarily say that DSP is the king of the worst, but he's up there. $50 gets you. Patrons who donate $50 or more a month will receive a personalized video from me, roughly 15 to 20 minutes in length. You will be able to submit questions which I will answer in the video, and it will personally address the patron think of it. What? Address the patron. Think of it as your own personal edition of Ask the King. He has to explain what a private Q&A is to people. Think of it as, okay, I'm gonna offer you a personalized Q&A. Think of it like a Ask the King series. In a way, last year patrons loved the private video that I've made for them since I started this in 2015. Dude, the way he writes these rewards, it's just a fucking CEO speak. You'll receive one private Q&A video for every month that you pledge 50 level, and you will receive all the lower. Okay. Wait, what? As long as you haven't already received one that isn't that what? Oh, you know what this might be? He used to have a another goal between the $20 and $50 one. I think it was like I don't remember. Fuck that. But yeah, he didn't add anything. He said he was gonna do a Patreon goal in May. Still hasn't done it and won't do it, which is I don't know why you would tell your fans I'm gonna do a Patreon goal in May when you haven't done one, and you're gonna probably if he's gonna do it by near the end of May, that's really dumb. He either shouldn't have said that or he should have just done it by now. But it is what it is. But let's go on to his Twitter for a bit. So he did this flash poll. Flash poll! Now that subs are gone, I'd like to gauge. I was gonna do like a whatever. Gauge interest in replacing them with a pledge to my Patreon. So when would you consider pledging there? So people said as soon as possible. May 1st, no double charge. And the majority is when perks interest me. So he asked this poll, and this will be important. You're gonna understand very shortly why. He makes this poll, right? So let's go to his Returnal stream.
I believe it's randomized. Okay. And then I got an anonymous $1.30 tip and says, why don't you push more people to support you on Patreon? Because something is gone. Most of your supporters have stigma of verified PayPal BS. I think it will help you more in the long run. I keep telling.
Now, when he first lost his Twitch thing and all this stuff, he said he wanted to go all in on Patreon as well. He wanted people to sub. If they sub, to go to Patreon for that. He was trying to push. He said he was going to push Patreon in May. It's May 7th now, and he's still complaining about how he doesn't want to push people to Patreon for no reason. Like he wanted to do this in the like near the end of. Oh my god! Sorry. Oh my god! All these people are talking to me. This is all bullshit. Wow! Come on. Dude, I'm busy. I'm busy here. He wanted to urge people to go to Patreon, and now all of a sudden it's well, I don't know if I want to go to Patreon. I won't go to Patreon yet because he wants people to tip, but he set up his Patreon to do instant charge. It makes no sense. This dude like forgot like it was like April DSP was a different guy that was talking, and then once May struck. That DSP died, and a new one that was thirsty for tips came back. Like,
I'm telling you guys, you could pledge to my Patreon if you want to help. The problem, here's the thing, and here's what I actually don't like about Patreon. People have now think that Patreon is essentially a you pledge and get something out of it kind of a deal. They almost see it.
You have rewards. Why do you think rewards exist, DSP?
Like a purchase or a transaction. That's not what Patreon is. Patreon is not.
I wanna
like about Patreon. People have now think that Patreon is essentially a you pledge and get something out of it kind of a deal.
This is bullshit because the whole point that Patreon offers rewards is so that people get something out of supporting their content creator. Like, it is such bullshit what he's saying right now because he wants everyone to just support content creators just for the sake of supporting. Now, as I said before in the beginning of this video, if people want to support you and they don't care about the rewards, that's on them. That's their decision. You can't tell people how to contribute, why they should contribute, and all this stuff. Of course, Patreon is there for people to support their content creators, because that's like why it exists in the first place. But you don't see content creators. I've not seen Mega64, I've not seen iFi, Kanuko, whoever, anyone for this matter, go around saying, guys, you should support me on Patreon because you want to. Come on, support me on Patreon because you want to support me, right? And it's like, if they want to support you, they would have either done it by now, or they're doing it another way, or whatever. They just would have done it by now. People who go to Patreon and say, I don't like these rewards, I'm not pledging, that's also valid, because you're giving a reward. If they don't like the rewards and they like your content, okay, if they haven't supported you at all, let's say they have not subscribed to you on Twitch when you could, they have not pledged your Patreon at all when it existed, or during this time period of DSP where it's May 5th as he streamed this, and no one ran to his Patreon, they're probably not going to go to his Patreon because they want to support him. They probably want to wait until they get something that's a little bit more enticing for them, which is fine because it's their money. If they want to give you money for something that they want to get out of it, that's fine. Like, the only reason why I pledged to, like, iFi, Kanuko, Mega64 is because their lower rewards were enticing. Now, I've been those levels in the past, and I have been thinking of increasing my pledge for some of these people I've pledged to, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I would like to see the Photoshop file that Kanuko makes for her work, because I want to see kind of like her process of it, and just kind of learn from that, just to learn, for learning purposes. So it's like, I could, that's how I see it, how I think about it. It's like, and it's also giving more money to the people who I appreciate, and I like their content, and their artwork, okay? But right now, I'm just sitting at what I can just afford, and I just don't want to, like, increase my pledge just yet. That doesn't mean, oh, well, fuck them, Like, you can't really have this mentality about how people support and try to, like, kind of orchestrate how they support you and all this stuff. And it is really fucked up that DSP has this mentality about it, when this is stuff that either you shouldn't say out loud or you shouldn't think at all, because you should just be grateful for what you have. Because literally 0 people could be pledging right now, DSP. 0 people.
They almost see it like a purchase or a transaction.
Now, if he thinks this, then just remove the rewards then. Just don't offer anything. There are patrons that don't offer anything, and it's like, hey, this is just to support me. If you want to support me, you can, whatever, but there's no rewards. Why not do that then, Phil? Why not just not offer rewards if you don't want to have it being seen as a transaction?
That's not what Patreon is. Patreon is not a transaction where you buy something. Patreon is supposed to be, oh, I like the content someone puts out, all right, and I'm going to support them via a monthly, pledge. Oh, that's why they call it a pledge, okay? Oh, I like the content someone puts out, all right, and I'm going to support them.
But people also set up their Patreon as like a behind-the-scenes kind of thing to give them more content all the time. Like, that's like the point of it. It's like, hey, you can support me, but you also get like behind-the-scenes stuff. You'll get all this kind of stuff. You get a phone call, etc. And DSP just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And it's like, then why have a Patreon then, DSP? If you don't like this attitude, then just remove the rewards.
Via a monthly, pledge. Oh, that's why they call it a pledge, okay? And then, if you like the content that person puts out, you continue that pledge month by month. Now, that person has the option to say, hey, I like the fact that people are supporting me, and I can give you an ongoing reward as a result of doing that. But it's not supposed to be, okay, I go to your Patreon, and I look at your Patreon and say, oh, if I pledge $5, I get this transaction. If I pledge $10, I'm buying this.
Then Like, you can't complain about this, that people, like, are judging their support on what you're offering and their rewards when, like, that's the point of rewards, is so that people can, like, think about what level they want to pledge. He just wants people to be sheep and just pay. Don't think, just pledge. Just don't think, okay? But that's like the whole point of rewards, is that you want to either entice them to just support at any level, or you want them to support on higher levels. That's why they're called rewards. Because people are deciding what level they want to pledge at. That's like the whole premise of it. And yeah, if they like the content, they might look at the Patreon like, oh, what do they offer at this reward? What do they offer at that reward? Because the thing is that you could get the content for free by just either watching. I don't know why I put that in quotation marks now I think about it. But anyways, you can watch his streams to get the same content for free. i5 poster artwork for free online as well. You don't get it's pretty much the safe for work version of it, but you get her art anyway. But if you want to pledge, you could get uncensored, and if you want to pledge more, you could get higher resolutions. You might get better rewards, whatever. But you can decide on what reward you think is like what can be like beneficial for you, what can be beneficial for her, whatever. For anyone. Whatever. It is what it is. You decide what you want to pledge. But DSP wants his fans to just pledge and not think about the amount that they give him, because he benefits more if they pledge more, but he doesn't want to give them more. It's so lazy how he views his Patreon. It is insane that he says this with such a straight face, and he genuinely believes this.
If I put $20, I'm buying that. That's actually not what Patreon is supposed to be.
But it is. Patreon wants you to give something back to your fans for supporting you. If you don't want that relationship with your fans, then don't offer rewards, DSP. Why have rewards if you don't want them to see it that way? Now, before people say, I'll bring up Project 7. Project 7 was a goal. Goals and rewards are different things entirely with Patreon. And that's not to say that what he did with Patreon. Project 7 was great either. It's still a scam. It's bullshit. And his justification for it is that it's not Kickstarter, okay? Is bullshit, because goals are stuff that people would pledge to hit to get this thing to happen. If it doesn't happen, like, he could say what he believes about it, whatever. That's fine, but at the same time, people have the right to be angry about it. Like, they could say that's bullshit. You know, people pledge to your Patreon to hit it. Now, of course, they can say, no, they pledged my Patreon to support it. See, this is the mind game DSP does with Patreon all the time. And get ready for more mind games. If you, let's say you pledge to his Patreon for the goal, he will say, guys, I'm doing this goal. Hit the goal by the end of the month to make this happen. To make it happen, if you want this to happen, pledge my Patreon. Pledge my Patreon to make this happen. It happens. Well, guys, see, they didn't pledge to my Patreon to make the goal happen. They pledged because they like me. It is the same mind game that he did when he got gifted subs. He would get the gifted subs. He would say, so-and-so was very generous. And then he would just say, after that, guys, look how many people subbed to my channel. Look at that. Oh, man, so many people were just subbing. It's great. Okay, guys, there were some people that gave sub, but there were a lot of people that subbed, okay? And they were going to continue their sub in the next month. All this stuff. Then when the subs would expire, he would say, oh, it's sub bombs. They're expiring. Yippee. Whatever. Like, it's this mind gaming that he does when it comes to this. So with Patreon, he is going to hide behind the shield of people pledge my Patreon to support me, and just ignore that he's selling his goals on Patreon that would get people to pledge to his Patreon. It's this whole fucking mind game that he plays with his audience. Like, if he just wants people just to have to look at Patreon as just a straight up support the content creator, he shouldn't do goals and he shouldn't do rewards. Get rid of both and just have a Patreon and there you go. Just do that. Just do that. That would be way more honest than what you're shoveling on that, because, like, the way he does his goals, like I've seen goals that literally are, oh, if we hit this goal, I'll be able to pay my rent. Oh, if we hit this goal, I'll be able to have like pay my insurance, whatever. If I hit this goal and all this stuff, I can do this full time. I have seen goals like that in the past. I have seen a goal that Mega 64 has done where it's like, hey, if you hit this goal, we'll do version 4. They hit the goal, they are working on version 4 right now. So it's like they're putting something out, obviously. It's just, obviously gonna take a lot of time because it's fucking content, dude. Come on. But, it's like all this stuff that people do because of these goals. DSP does goals and then feels no burden to delivering the goal because it's not Kickstarter. It's so bullshit, and it's such lazy marketing because he's going off of how Patreon marketed its website, but Patreon probably has a little bit of a, when you look at how Patreon, like, the emails I get from Patreon, for example, literally tell you, guys, make goals that make people want to pledge, and all this stuff, and deliver them very well. Like, they have all these things that tell you how to, like, please patrons, and all this stuff. Like, the site literally tells you that you should make content for your patrons because they support you. DSP would just see that and be like, nah, delete it. Junk. Who cares? I'm doing great. All this stuff. Like, he's telling you that the whole point of Patreon is to support content creators, but when you look at the emails that they send you, when you look at how Patreon does, just if you go through all the tips that the website gives you when you make a Patreon, all of it is to entice rewards and goals because they understand it's a two-way street. And DSP just doesn't care. He doesn't care about these things. Like, this is what's so maddening about it. And to a degree, it is such a lazy way to run a Patreon that it's disgusting. When I see people say that his Patreon is a scam, it is. And it's honestly giving such a bad name to people who run Patreon. And again, DSP is not alone on that. There's so many people that have lazy Patreons and all this stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say that DSP is the only person that's on that site that is lazy or whatever. But it's just, it blows my mind that this dude is just so transparent with it, and so many of his fucking people who support him on Patreon just don't see it. Like, he puts no thought at all into his fucking rewards. He has a fucking $10 reward that he doesn't even fulfill. This is the most bullshit reward out of all of them. He at least does the $50 one. He at least does this. He at least does the $20 one to a degree. I mean, I guess no one really satisfies this because none of the patrons cared enough to do it. Whatever. But the $10 one is a scam. He doesn't do this at all anymore. This should just be deleted, honestly. The $5 one will now be relevant, but it wasn't relevant for years. And he didn't even care enough to rewrite these when he had sub goals going on doing viewer's choice because he doesn't care. And then he has the fucking goal to say, I'm going all in on Patreon. I want people to pledge my Patreon. And then when people say, I don't like these rewards, and he's like, he gets mad. But look at these rewards. They're trash. They're not like he should just remove some of this or just move it to the $5 reward. If he thinks that it's just a pledge to support the content creator, remove all these then, dumbass. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, holy shit. And people have been saying that, like, and I've said this in the past, it's really hard, in my opinion, for Patreon to enforce a rule of, like, you have to use our site, whatever. You have to be an active Patreon content creator to do it because some people do Patreon rewards that are off that site. Sometimes they do, like, special like, YouTube streams. Sometimes they send special emails. Whatever. There's all this stuff that would be kind of hard for Patreon to justify banning someone for not using it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they should, but it's just his Patreon is lazy. Like, he would be the textbook example. Like like, it would be one of these rulings that would be great for accounts like this, but bad for other accounts that actually care, you know? It's one of those kind of deals. It's just like DSP going along the lines of the rules and just being the textbook example of the guy that should be banned, but would also lead a bad precedent to honest people that use these sites honestly. It's just one of those things. And it just blows my mind that he has such a hostile approach, hostile mentality on people just not liking these rewards. Blows my mind.
But people see it that way. When people were subbing here on Twitch, they were subbing for various reasons. Some people just wanted to give me ongoing support, so they would sub. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about emotes.
Wait, so he just said people subbed on Twitch for various reasons, and then highlighted one reason. Patreon is literally the same way. You'll have people who will pledge your Patreon and not mind because they just want to support you. And then you have people that will care about the rewards and say, well, it is what it is. But no, that's toxic. But Twitch subs, they're I don't know why he has such a boner for Twitch. It's like he wanted, like, when he talks about the YouTube viewers, he shits on them. He says that they have ADHD, they're very fickle, they were brats, they take things for granted, all this stuff. He pretty much shits on the YouTube audience for no reason. Just no reason. And he shits on them he also shits on them for being toxic, which he blames the whole website for, so that's cool. But then when it comes to the Twitch audience, oh man, my Twitch audience is so great. I don't want to leave Twitch. When YouTube cut his paycheck because of the adpocalypse, he ran to Twitch. Fuck the YouTube audience. Ran to Twitch. Twitch just removes his ability to get subs, to get cheers, whatever. And in his words, didn't tell him why. I don't want to leave Twitch. I love you guys. Where was that back when he was streaming on YouTube for all those years? Fuck him. Oh, the Twitch audience. Oh, you guys are so cool. I love you. This holy shit. I don't know why. And the Twitch and his stream chat is full of people who shit on him in sneaky ways. And he's like, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose you guys. A bunch of facetious fans, and he doesn't want to lose that, but the YouTube audience has stuck around through the swatting, through the DMCA strikes, all this stuff. Nah, fuck them. They have ADHD, they're fickle, they take things for granted, fuck them. Oh, I don't want to leave the Twitch audience that has whatever. Like, and now he's seeing Patreon negatively. Dude, why? Why do you view these people so negatively? You want them to support you, and you're just saying that, these people, they see Patreon as a transaction, and they want this, they want that. That's not how it should work. But you guys, when you subbed, you didn't care about the emotes, you didn't care about the goals, you just want to support me, man.
They didn't care about the crown. They didn't care about skipping ads. All they cared about was,
They didn't care about the crown. Man, then why did you have the crowns then? When the crowns were lost for a while, he was really upset about that, but they didn't care about that. All this bullshit because he wants to shit on Patreon for no reason. A source of income he'll want you to go to. And he's shitting on it on the key features that it has. Why? Why view this so negatively? Why be so negative? Why? Like, I don't understand because, like, this dude doesn't like when people are mean to their viewers and all this stuff. Oh, I'm not gonna be this and that. But then when people are like, well, I don't like the rewards. I would like to support you on Patreon, but it's just the rewards are not doing it enough for me. Oh, fuck you, man. Patreon's supposed to be you supporting me. Like, fuck off. Dude, imagine if every fucking dude on Patreon acted like this. Think how you'd react to that. Like, oh my god, man.
Support Phil, I like his content. Okay? But then, very well, there were some people who were subbing because they wanted all of those things. Okay? So there's different kinds of people, and they support for different reasons.
But that doesn't work for Patreon? You can have people that support you for various reasons on Patreon. So let me get this straight. People should all pledge to Patreon because Patreon's whole thing, apparently, is just to support content creators. So then why does the website offer goals and rewards? Like, I just don't understand. Like, then why does the website offer these things? So people can have, so it's like a punishment at this point. If he's pretty much saying, I mean, this is twisting his words negatively. I'll admit that it is a negative spin, but it's kind of the gist you could get just by listening to him. So pretty much, right? When he took subs, you could have the freedom to sub for multiple reasons, but now that that's taken away, you have no option. You have to go to Patreon. If you sub, you have to go to Patreon, and you cannot care about the rewards. You have to just pledge. Just don't think, pledge. I mean, that's kind of the gist that you could get out of this whole thing. And he's gonna get mad at people saying this about him, but maybe DSP, don't say shit like this. Just say, hey, you want better rewards? I'll work on it. But no, that's not the point of Patreon. And it's like, dude, just be grateful for what you fucking get, dumbass. You don't have subs anymore, fat fuck. Ugh.
That's perfectly fine. But I almost 100% feel like people...
Wait, what?
They wanted all of those things. Okay? So there's different kinds of people, and they support for different reasons. That's perfectly fine. But I almost 100% feel like people who pledge to Patreon are like, I want to buy something. And they look at
This is very presumptuous. And I've said this many times in the past. DSP literally has a negative outlook on the people who watch his streams. It is insane. I have not seen someone have so much like that jumps to the conclusions of my fans suck ass. I've never seen that. I've never seen people assume that their viewers are dumb. I've not seen people who think like this. At most, I've seen people who think that there are people in their audience that are negative. But when they usually talk about these kind of people, they don't go in these broad stroke kind of diatribes that DSP goes through. It's usually like, yeah, you know, there are some people that go in here that does this, but it is what it is. But I'm just glad that I have all these people that support me and enjoy what I put out. I've seen pretty much that from many people I follow, which is like, okay, whatever. But DSP has such a viewpoint on just viewers in general that it's so negative. And it's like, you want these people to support you and to help you out, but you just put all these things in their heads, in their mouths. He just assumes that they hate him, they assume that they want all this stuff out of him, and it's all negative. He doesn't look at, he does, like, this is why I say a lot of times that he takes all this shit for granted. Like, I have seen people that are just grateful for what they have, but DSP is so negative. Like, people who get, like, no tips on their stream be more grateful for people who just watch their streams than DSP who gets $29, let's say. It blows my mind. Like, it blows my mind. And, like, I've talked to Charles, who was on my Big Bun Game Club video with me, and I've even said this in videos, like, when I've seen my view count go to like 20 views, I'm like happy because that means that there's 20 people who watched the video who cared. And it's like, that makes me so happy to see. Like, I like people who just look at this stuff and support me. It just blows my mind. but DSP gets $29. Oh, well, guys, you know, people see Patreon as this. He has 560 something dollars on his Patreon, and he's still not happy.
The Patreon, like, well, I don't like what's there for purchase, so I'm not going to pledge to the Patreon. It's like, but that's not the point of Patreon. You're supposed to be doing an ongoing pledge to help the person who you like the content they're already putting out for free. That's the point. Now, if you get something in return, great. That's an added bonus.
See how he views it? You should just be grateful. It's like I give you it's like I give you $20, let's say. Alright, I give you $20, and you're like, oh, thank you. Okay, here's some breadcrumbs. And I'm like, what the fuck? Hey, the breadcrumbs are a bonus. You gave me $20 because you like me. Here's some breadcrumbs. Believe this guy? He gives me $20 and he's crying about breadcrumbs. Oh, like it's a bonus. It's a bonus. You should be grateful because it's a bonus. I don't have to be doing these rewards. I'm doing them because it's a bonus. But these bonuses suck. And it's also like very like closed-minded to just assume that your rewards are above criticism because they're bonuses. I'm sorry, DSP, but people can criticize your rewards. They can say, I wish these were better. It's subjective. If you think your rewards are great, that's good for you, but not everyone has to agree with you on that. But look how insulted he is about people wanting to put a little bit more thought into his rewards. Like, just put some extra thought into it. It goes a long way.
It's not supposed to be, I'm buying a transaction. But that's how so many people seem to view it, you know? So right now, why don't I push the Patreon? Well, I am. Every day I'm literally saying, hey guys, please tip me on the streams or pledge to my Patreon. What happens? 99.9% of people tip me on the streams. I've gotten maybe 20 people who pledge to my Patreon.
Because there's nothing there. There's no goals. The rewards are not even relevant. It's a bonus. What bonus? Oh, just the forum title that these people don't even go to. Every time there's a viewer's choice and his chat complains, he's like, well, you didn't make a forum account. So clearly the $5 reward is as valuable as like breadcrumbs. Like, dude, just offer something better than just, oh, you get forum titles. His rewards are shit and they're expensive. $50 to get a private Q&A. When these people ask him questions every day that he answers.
Since I lost my partnership 2 weeks ago. Okay? What do you want me to do? Like, I understand that people are saying, okay, well, give us more incentive, give us something better or whatever. Okay, fair enough, but there's only so much I can do. I'm here on...
So much I can do. Dude, you can think of rewards every day. It's not like he has to sit down and stare at a wall to come up with ideas. He could be eating food and thinking of rewards. He could be shitting thinking of rewards. He could be playing this game thinking of rewards. But he can't. He's busy, man. This dude, the way he does things, it's like you think he's a fucking Neanderthal. He can't multitask. It's like impossible. It's like maybe what it is, guys. He drank so much when he was younger that he is suffering through the brain damage from years of alcohol. Maybe that's what it is. He can't multitask anymore. He can't think of two things at once, guys. It's impossible. He can't do it. He can't do it. Feels bad, man.
Stream full time, all the time. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, I have all this free time where I can be doing extra stuff for patrons. You know, what do we have to do is, can we figure out...
Now look at this, okay? Recently, he also announced that he's doing a Mass Effect marathon. He was able to think of that. But he had no time to think of rewards. Interesting.
Goals or rewards that tie into the stuff I'm already doing. So
why does he need to spend more time thinking of goals? He could literally just do what he's been doing as sub goals as Patreon goals. Like, he could literally just do that. Like, okay, the May Patreon goal, retrospective. Wow, what about that? Like, he did pay, and the thing that's insane, if you even think about it even more, He literally did Patreon goals in the past, and now he's acting as if he never done Patreon goals. You could go to like fucking weekend previews where he talks about Patreon goals. And he's talking as if he just opened a Patreon account. Dude, you ran this account for years. And now you don't know what to do for a Patreon goal? Are you fucking serious, dude? He could even do a Patreon goal to get a green screen. He could just look at the amount it costs for a green screen, and then he could do the scam of, well guys, it's the green screen plus the bills or whatever the fuck. So this is the amount for the Patreon goal. He could do that too.
So that way I can fit them in and my existing streams don't suffer. You see? And that's the challenge, I feel, of trying to maintain a Patreon account that people like. Is that you need to have a balance. It can't be, oh, well, I take time away from doing my normal daily streams that I need to make a living in order to do stuff for Patreon. You see?
You see? Wait, what?
Can't be, oh, well, I take time away from doing my normal daily streams that I need to make a living in order to do stuff for Patreon. You see? But that's the thing. I feel that people sub just to support. People are not pledging to my Patreon just to support their...
People sub to just support you. He literally said before that people sub for various reasons. But now it's that they sub for just support. See how he spins all this bullshit? Like, of course there are people that want to support you, but there's also people who don't. And they want support for emotes or to get no ads or whatever. And also, half of his subs were also Prime subs.
They're looking to buy something, and I don't have much to offer. I'm already here all the time. So that's kind of the challenge. Like I said, I do want to improve my Patreon rewards by the end of this month.
Oh, now he wants to improve the rewards, but why?
I don't want the fucking turret thing.
He went through all this rant about how people feel entitled to get stuff from Patreon, all this stuff. Then says, I want to revamp the rewards. Why, DSP? Shouldn't you just remove the rewards since you don't want people to have this transactional relationship?
I do want to improve my Patreon rewards by the end of this month, but that's not going to be something that I can do immediately. That's going to be something that can be done maybe over time as we talk this month and we brainstorm together what you guys want. One of the things that absolutely people have said is, I want multiplayer with you. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to make that happen because the trolls always ruin multiplayer sessions that I try to do, but if that's what people want, I can at least try to figure out and brainstorm something. Okay? I'm not just going to outright shoot it down and say, no, it's a definite no.
Why not do...
So let's see what happens. But outside of that, I really haven't gotten much else explanation of what you guys would want to see on my Patreon. That's something that's viable that I can really do. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what you guys want. I push the Patreon. Okay. Please pledge to my Patreon. It helps. It replaces the sub. Right? But outside of that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Push Patreon. Pledge! I did it, guys. Woo! What a great marketing. Great marketing, dude.
Deciphering the blood red xenoglyphs.
Like, I just love that he thinks that, if he wants people to support him, right? And all this stuff, but it's not, it doesn't mean that they're going to. Like, the whole point of it is that it's an optional thing. Like, if you want to support, you want to. If you don't, you don't. And he's acting as if you want to support me. You guys, if you're watching this, you want to support. And it's like, that's not necessarily the case. Some people just either don't have the money, maybe they don't want to spend the money on it, maybe they're just happy with just watching the video and all this stuff. And that's, like, the nature of the beast. Like, that's why, like, it blows my mind that he enters a field, a business field, that is based on creativity and all this stuff, right? And it is a business venture that can literally get you $0 gain. Zero. And he's acting as if, like, well, I'm making videos, I should get paid for this. I mean, artists should get paid too, but there's a reason why there's a saying of the starving artist, because, you know, art isn't really like a lucrative business unless you're like a well-known artist that makes like great art, you know.
statue rapping.
Like, you think anyone like let's say even you go in the film industry, let's say that I become a film director tomorrow. I'm like, I want to make a movie. Do you think I'm gonna be a fucking hit? I'm gonna be like a successful director immediately? No, because I'm unproven. I'm probably gonna like not even make a good movie. It's probably gonna be garbage, and then no one will watch it, and I'll make $0, and I'll be in the hole, dude. Come on.
Imprisonment? Metamorphosis. I enshroud myself and hide. My shadows lurk every...
I don't think this is
3
anything.
seconds, so you'll be able to use your all fire way. So I went back to the ship for nothing.
Yeah, I think that's it for that. I want to watch this pre-stream. I'm thinking not to, because I think it's gonna say the same stuff as the Returnal stream, but
Saturday night, and then Sunday night, like I said, we'll do Returnal, and Returnal will be at that point. You know, maybe it'll be MLB. I'm trying to think, you know. But the big announcement, guys. I have a big announcement this morning in light of recent events. Okay? So here's the recent events that we're in light of. As you all know by this point, I can't imagine how you wouldn't know this by now. You must be living in a cave under a rock or maybe on Venus. Okay? For some inexplicable reason that I was never explained at all.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this because it's gonna be redundant, but the other actually no.
Now, the weird thing is I wasn't.
I'm just gonna fast forward some of this.
I also am not gonna be going out of my way to do something stupid, like try to get into a legal process about it. It's not worth it. Okay.
I like how someone knows he's not gonna get paid. Pretty cool, huh? As I said, DSP is an opportunist. He knows that he can milk fans for this. He will do it.
Now, the thing is, I want to stay here on Twitch. I have built a community here on Twitch in the last 4.5 years. All right? I want to stay here if at all I can. I've found ways to get back the things that we are losing because the partnership is gone. For example, I can reinstitute emotes on this channel through Better Twitch TV. It's going to take some work, so I got to pay $5 a month for a premium membership. And then I have to go over there and I have to find all the emotes on my computer, which some of them I'm sure I don't even have anymore. I'm going to have to re-upload everything, rename everything, and basically try to get all this implemented again. And this means all of you, not just those who used to be sub, but all of you, as long as you have the Better Twitch TV plugin, will actually have access to all of my emotes. Okay? Pretty cool. Now, in addition to that, there are workarounds for some of the other things we've lost, such as polls, and also the penne points that we were using. There are workarounds for these. I can implement bots to run these for us.
Bats?
Okay? But the reason that I have not, gotten any of these things for the channel yet are twofold. All right? The first thing is, I don't really know what's going on with Twitch. I find it very, very odd that I was kicked out of the partner program with no explanation, yet here I am over 2 weeks later, I'm still able to stream and they're not doing anything else. So
he's still confused about a website having 2 terms of service that one, whatever.
It's obvious they're saying, oh, Phil violated the partner program, or we just don't want Phil in the partner program for whatever reason. But I didn't break any rules, and they're not gonna kick me off the site, right? I mean, the thing is, it's all assumption. When they don't answer, all I can do is guess, and that's really the problem here. Is if I do all this work, right? If I do all this work,
why not just do like the free version of Better Twitch TV, like the free version of it for a while, so that way you're not spending any money on it, and then once this little imaginary deadline passes, he can upgrade the account, but that's too much work.
To get everything set up, excuse me. Oh my god. If I get all this set up, and then they just decide, oh, on a whim, well, Phil, you're out of here. For no reason, and again, it seems like they won't have to explain it, then that was a tremendous waste of time, and obviously that's going to be even worse off for all of you. You'll be all excited to have all these features back, and then I get banned from the site for no reason, right? So obviously this
is kind of bullshit anyway, because this could happen literally anytime. It could happen next month, the following month, next year, next 2 years. Like, then what was the point, guys? You had like 2 years of emotes, and now it's gone.
Major concern, and I wish that someone at Twitch would answer me, but no one will. Okay, so it seems like I'm never going to get any peace in that regard. But the other half of this puzzle is very simple. For me to spend here, okay, for me to spend here, let's try this again. For me to stay here on Twitch, I need to make sure that I can still make a living streaming on Twitch without subs and without cheering. Okay? And the only way that's going to happen is, number one, to make sure that people are going to be supportive via tipping and via Patreon, because those are the only ways now that you can contribute. That's number one. And number two would be to be sure that I am going to be able to get through this month. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the month of May is now going to be one of the most challenging months I've ever had.
Now, back when he lost his partnership, right? He literally said, well, guys, it's going to be an interesting experiment. If we hit the tips goal, the $200 tips goal for, like, first it was, like, the weekend. 3 days, right? Whatever. He hits the goal of those 3 days. Alright, guys, well, if we are able to hit the tips goal of $200 for this whole week, we should be good, okay? Hits the goal for that week. Okay, guys, it seems like you guys really want me to stay on Twitch, man. Yay! And then the following week after that, didn't hit the goal that consistently. What's going on? If I hit the tips goal for this week, first it was a week, then it became 10 days, and now it's a month. Funny how that grew. And now it's like, well, if I don't make any money this month, man, I'm gonna have to leave. Man, I wonder if he's gonna say the same. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, how come no one is thinking, what's to say DSP's not gonna say the same song and dance in June, in July, in August? He's literally just gonna keep doing this. Because it went from 3 days, to a week, to another week, to 10 days, to a month. And it's like, it's twofold with this, dude. Twofold. And it's as thus, okay? It's either that he needs to stop with these fucking imaginary deadlines and bullshit experiments that really don't work, or he should just be honest and say, guys, like, I need $200 every stream, period. If I just don't get it, I'm out of here. Because it's kind of bullshit and kind of shitty to just keep telling them, if you make it through the week, you make it through the month. This was the shit he used to do back when in 2017 when he first started doing tips and bits. Guys, if I just make it through the summer, if I just make it to June, if I make it to August, if I make it to October, we should be good. And he's doing the same shit again. And it's like, it's not gonna stop. He's gonna keep giving this little carrot to dangle. He did that. He did that with the taxes. He did that with the green screen. He did it with the chair. He did that, like, he was supposed to get the green screen in January 2021, and it's now May, and that green screen is pretty much dead. Fuck it.
Because it looks like I'm not going to get paid by Twitch for my performance in April.
How does he know
this? That means
this?
that payment that I always get around the middle of the month. You know, every month I talk about this. If I can just get through the first couple weeks of the month, I get paid by Twitch in the middle of the month, and that pays my mortgage, that pays my back taxes, that pays a bunch of utilities, and then I can move on smoothly for the rest of the
If you literally listen to all of his plug segments in January, February, any month at this point, you just throw a dart at a calendar and you'll get it. He literally tells us that tips goes to bills and utilities and all these things, but now the bits goes to that. But then, like, his whole financial stuff never adds up, and it keeps poking holes. Like, if you just think about it, it doesn't make sense. It's either the tips or the bits. I mean, I guess what he fails to mention is that I guess both goes into it, which he doesn't really explain very well because he's a baby. He's a baby in his head, but
the month.
It is what it is.
Well, if I don't get that, I can't pay anything. You know, like
Save
right
the
now,
house.
all the funds that I'm raising on streams, the tips, are directly paying bills. Already, I can tell you guys this week, I already paid my car payment. Already, the dues for the condo in Connecticut that's being foreclosed, and I've stuck with for years, and I have to pay these dues or they could sue me for them. That got paid, even though it's a waste of fucking money. It got paid. Coming up later this week, all right, I have to pay the dues on this condo here that I live in. I also have to pay.
You know what? He says all this. Why not just calculate the bills that he has to pay into a general tip goal and have that be the goal to hit.
Upcoming garbage removal bill, which is bi-monthly bill, that has to be paid.
Garbage
and then I gotta pay my internet bill.
Hmm.
And I have to pay all of that stuff, plus, this coming Monday, I have to go grocery shopping. I have to, pay for stuff on my day off.
Now, he says all this, and you're probably sitting there at home thinking, what bills does Kat pay? Because it sounds like DSP pays for all of the bills. She pays for the Amazon, probably, and Hulu, and Disney Plus, okay? Obviously. Like, I remember someone asking him, like, oh, what does Kat contribute? And it's like, that's not your business, okay? She contributes behind the scenes. It's not your business to know. But it's our business to know what he pays. But it sounds like he literally pays for everything. So what does she pay? She has a job. Like, and if she does contribute, why not just say, well, she's helping out with all these things, but, you guys need help too? I don't know. I mean, at this point, it sounds kind of a clown world over there. Like, how big are his bills? Like, it seriously sounds like his bills are like $500,000.
I have to do all that. And then, in addition to all of that, I need to raise enough money by the 15th of this month to pay my mortgage. Because that's when it's due. Okay? It's not good. That is an incredible amount of stuff to pay in a short period of time. And again, usually, the Twitch payment covers the second half of that stuff, and I'm not going to apparently...
You know what's kind of funny? Notice that he didn't mention the YouTube paycheck. Back when he lost his YouTube account, the YouTube AdSense, and all that bullshit that happened, you know what he told us? I make a lot of money on the legacy views of my videos, and now it's gone. That's like the majority of my paycheck. What about that? What about that? Well, I guess it's moot now. It means nothing.
Get a Twitch payment this month. Okay? So, this is bad.
Now, of course, he says that YouTube ads are not what they used to be, but, like, they weren't as what they used to be when that happened, because he was making zero. But he would say all the time that, well, it's the views keep climbing, it accumulates and all this bullshit, but whatever.
And so, I've been brainstorming ideas. The first thing I did is, you see on every stream, I've now increased the tips goals from 100 to 200. And I want to say thank you to anyone in the last couple of weeks who has been helping me with this and increase their amount that they're tipping out the streams. It has been helping. You guys are getting me through this short-term problem right now by helping me with that. All right? And the truth of the matter is this. If every single day that I was streaming, I could actually hit those goals, then I would be making enough not only to pay all the bills now, but to pay the mortgage, do everything for the rest of the month. Seriously. If I was making that $200 a stream, I'd be gold. The problem is I'm not. The problem is, people have now come on the stream and say, well, we used to sub and we used to cheer, but we don't want to tip because tipping means we have to use PayPal. And we're so deathly afraid that using PayPal is going to...
We're so deathly afraid of being doxxed. DSP, maybe all those months of telling them to be careful of their personal information and be careful how to use the internet is why they're deathly afraid.
Dox us that we refuse to use PayPal. Even though I've told you guys a million times that's not the case, people still want to believe their conspiracy theories. So then I say, well, okay, well then please, in the short term, please help me. Pledge to my Patreon. Well, we don't want to do that because Patreon, we feel, is transactional. We feel that when we pledge to Patreon, we're buying something. And if you're not offering great perks...
Who said this? They probably... He is literally taking... Like, I guess this is the true purpose of this poll. The true purpose. And when he saw people saying, when perks interest me, he was like, these fuckers, these 83% of people that want better perks, fuck them. What a piece of shit, right?
Right off the bat, then we don't feel that that's worth it. So therefore, we're not going to...
It's their money. Like, they have every right to say if what they spend is worth it or not. Like, oh my god, imagine if a game developer said this. Guys, when you're buying a game because, like, you support us. And like, oh, fuck you, man. Your game is a waste of money. I'm not buying that. Wow, look how ungrateful this game developer is. Wow. Oh my god, there was. Oh yeah, remember the Days Gone? Okay, so a guy in Days Gone, that developer, mentioned how people should. Oh shit, I probably should have researched this. I don't remember DSP's take on it. I know he talked about it, but the developer said like, oh guys, the developer pretty much said that if you wanted a sequel, you should have spent $60 on the game day one, so that the sales would justify a sequel, whatever. A lot of people shout on it, but it is. I mean, Days Gone is a fucking bland ass game. Whatever. But that dude kind of does have a point. A lot of times, games don't get sequels is because the sales aren't. Because a lot of companies look at the sales and they kind of base their decision off that to make a sequel or not. It is what it is. I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. It's a bitch, okay? But anyways, I can't remember though what DSP's take on it was. I don't know if he agreed with him or disagreed with him. If he disagreed with him, that proves my point of him being a hypocrite. But it is what it is.
To Patreon, like, what are you talking about? It's not. Patreon is not a transaction. You're not going to a store, handing someone money and getting something in return. Patreon is supposed to be.
But they could see the rewards and say, these rewards kind of suck. I don't want to support this dude, because I would argue that if you read people's rewards, you can kind of tell how much thought they put into their Patreon, and I think you could kind of judge of what you want out of it, whatever. Like, again, I pledge to the people who I pledge to because I like what they offered and I like their artwork. And basically, the first case, I like their videos, and it's like I want to support them. I like their stuff. I want to see more stuff behind the scenes. On top of that, and I want to see the uncensored iFi artwork too. I want to see this. I want to see that, and all this kind of stuff. And I looked at their rewards and based my support off that. I mean, I kind of support them anyway because I buy their merch sometimes from time to time. Their sketchbooks, whatever. But like again, it's all on the user and to decide that. And I don't think it's the patron owner's place to sit there and tell you how you should be spending your money. If people don't want to spend their money because they don't like the rewards, that's perfectly fine because that's their opinion. That's their decision.
Oh, there's a content creator out there or an artist out there who I like and I want to support their work. So here's an ongoing pledge. Oh, by the way, I earned something as a thank you, but it's not supposed to be, oh, this is a direct transaction.
But these thank yous give you a lot more. Like, see, and now this is the problem. This is the problem with his Patreon. He views it as like a shouts out feature, Like, oh, if you're pledging my Patreon, let's say thank you. There you go. That's what you pay for. But he offers like voting. He offers a video as a $50 reward and priority access. Oh my god, excuse me. But so many people offer so much for their rewards because they want to give you something more than just saying thank you. It's more of like, hey, if you pledge here, you'll get access to like behind the scenes stuff. You get access to more art, layers, resolutions, whatever, what have you. Because a lot of it is just so that they get you to like continue the pledge, so you get more out of it and you get like all this stuff. You get more content of what you liked. Pretty much, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. The reward tiers are mostly content creators and artists giving you more of what you like. But what does DSP give you? You like his content, you like his streams and all this stuff. Well, you don't get more of the stuff that you like. You get like a thank you. You get a vote on a goal that may or may not happen. You get to get a private video if you pledge high enough. Like, what do you really get?
Transactional thing. But people don't understand that. They literally act like Patreon is Kickstarter. It's not. You're not buying.
Again, it's good. Now he's merging the Kickstarter meme with rewards, even though it's about goals. Now, I have seen people bring up the Patreon terms of service and all this stuff. Patreon does that. I think that the rules, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, don't take it with a grain of salt. I think what these rules target is if you promise to give them something and you just don't give it to them at all or make no effort to do it, that is against TOS or whatever. Like you could get in trouble if someone like says, hey, this is like this person doesn't even like care, whatever. For the most part, I think it's also mostly focused on goals or whatever. But a lot of this stuff is just stuff that is mostly not a concern because a lot of people who use Patreon try to attempt or at least give what they promise to the people who pledge, etc. But yeah, these rules are mostly targeting like people who just don't even make the effort, pretty much.
A product, but they act like it is. For some odd reason, people have never gotten this weird ass notion out of their heads over the years. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like that all these people get these notions from people who actually give a shit about their Patreon to give them good rewards. Fucking idiots.
So, this sucks because those are the only two ways that people can support me, but those who used to sub and cheer apparently have not really converted over that well. Some did, don't get me wrong. Some people absolutely have been tipping, and some people have pledged to Patreon, and I appreciate that. But if you guys have been watching the streams over this week, it's basically not as it was the first week and a half.
Yeah, because the first week and a half, he was selling the idea that if I make the goal for this week, if I hit it, I'll be good. So these people supported him. So they supported him to hit the goal so that he stays on Twitch because he wants to stay on Twitch. And there was also people who wanted to support him because they didn't like that he lost his partnership. And he keeps thinking that this is ongoing support that will be there permanently. It's the same, like, as I said before, when he had subs, cheers, and tips. He wanted his audience to do all 3 pretty much. Ideally, he wanted all 3 to be done by them. That's why he would complain about he didn't get enough subs, or enough cheers, or enough tips, whatever sometimes. But then when he gets gift subs, and when Only Iced Coffee came around to give him all those subs, he didn't see that as just one dude gifting that subs. He saw as a lot of people supporting the sub goal. Oh, we had so many people come in to sub to hit the goal, guys. That was awesome. And all this stuff. It's just non-stop mind games about how he gets money.
The first week and a half, we had people coming and rallying, coming to the stream, supporting me to try to get me through this time, which is very appreciated.
And then during that time, he also said that he knew that this support wasn't going to be constant. And then when it's not constant, wow, what the fuck? It's not constant. Yeah, dumbass.
Now it's all kind of slowed down. Last night on the stream, I raised $50, and that's all I made. There was no cheering and no subbing.
Whoa.
On the stream earlier, yesterday.
Remember, guys, he appreciates your tips, and tipping is not mandatory.
Today, Returnal, I made about $150, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but
so he made 200 in a day.
That I used to be making a good amount of tips plus subs and cheers every stream.
Why is this the viewer's responsibility to know all this? Why should the viewer care how much money you make? Think about that. Like, I have seen so many people who do YouTube for a living and all this stuff, and not nearly any of them talk about how much they're making for a living than DSP. Like, I don't even think LTG does this, and I don't even think Wings does this. Maybe not to the extent that DSP does it or whatever, but like, as far as I'm concerned, like, DSP is like the only dude that goes around talking about how much he used to make and how we have to keep his lifestyle afloat.
This is what I mean. People are not understanding the giant difference that's now happening because I'm not in the partner program anymore.
Nice snort.
So that being said, all right. Obviously, in the long term, my plan is thus: get the emotes back on the channel, get bots in here to do.
Is that it?
Perks you guys have.
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about the marathon. Not really interested in that. But let's do this, and then we'll call it a day.
Particular email address, have that one. If you want me to see a particular email address, have that one associated with your PayPal account. If you make it so that I can see your phone number, then that's your fault.
That's your fault. Great guy Phil. Why didn't he say this before? I like how he tells us that you don't have to share your personal information, all of this stuff, but doesn't tell us how, doesn't tell us, anything. But now he tells us this information. That's unrecorded, by the way, because apparently he doesn't want the YouTube viewers to know this.
you know, but I don't want to see your phone number, and no one who tips me, do I get any of their personal info, because they're not stupid.
They're not stupid, guys.
I can see we're going to have a bunch of idiots on the stream tonight, so before I even start recording, I'll just say this right up front. So something very ridiculously stupid is happening right now on Twitter, all right? Twitter allows, they just have some kind of a partnership with PayPal. Listen to this.
Listen to this.
If you enable it and you tweet something, someone can actually send you money for a tweet. Now, I don't understand how that works exactly. I don't understand how the PayPal funds process links to Twitter, but apparently...
How does it link to Twitter? How does this happen? Probably, like, there's a little button on the tweet or whatever. You click it, then opens a PayPal page. You type in the amount, then it sends to the person with the PayPal account. Whoa. This dude, like, he's living in current year, and he doesn't understand how websites work. And he wonders why we call him a boomer.
This is just enabled today, okay? Well, one of the trending topics on Twitter is, oh my God, if you send money to someone on Twitter, you dox yourself. Like, I'm not kidding. This is the topic. So all you got to do is look one tweet in to someone intelligent, and the entire thing is fucking completely blown apart on its head. That's not the case at all. Here's what's going on, okay? So this thing was enabled on Twitter to send money via a tip, or excuse me, send money via a tweet is what I meant to say. Oh, I like that tweet. I like that person. Send them money for that tweet, okay? Here's what people are doing because they're completely stupid. Oh, I'm just going to very quickly create a quick PayPal account, check no settings.
I like how he's calling people stupid for doing this, but people use PayPal for many things. And I've looked into the subject a little bit before I made this video to see what the complaint was. But it's mostly just people saying, hey guys, be careful when you tip. It does give your information to the person you're sending the money to and all this other stuff. Like, it's kind of just a PSA. It's pretty much like a DSP pre-stream when he tells you to be careful with your PayPal account and all this stuff, right? But look how DSP reacts to that. People do that. Oh, they're fucking stupid. Fucking idiots. But then when he does it, he's being informative and he cares about them. So no one else is allowed to care for other people's well-being of their information except for him, apparently.
Or anything in it. Just put in basic info to create a PayPal account and immediately send a payment to someone. That's what they're doing. Okay? They're not actually linking their existing PayPal accounts. They're not actually doing any kind of due diligence. They're just idiotically, very quickly creating a PayPal account.
How does he know that they're instantly adding their PayPal account? Again, these people probably use their PayPal account for many things. For businesses, to give money between friends, maybe, because maybe someone owed money, whatever the fuck. And they need all this information. And the other thing is that's important to know that DSP has a PayPal business account. PayPal business accounts give you a little bit more luxury of what you can, like, what people can see, pretty much. I mean, you have a little bit more control of that than a personal PayPal account. So, should everyone just make a business PayPal account then? I mean,
And just sending money away to people on Twitter, alright? So the reason that this is trending is because I guess someone on Twitter who's verified put up this warning post saying, warning, if you do that, you dox yourself. I just confirmed it. I tested with someone, and look, here's their address. It proves that you dox yourself if you send anyone funds on this new Twitter link of PayPal. Wrong. Completely.
But she literally did that to show that it happens, and they're saying that it's wrong? Look, I have evidence. No, wrong, stupid. That evidence is bogus. You have to go through another setting to do this. If, like, dude, like, he's so, like, oh, this is so frustrating.
Wrong. The entire thing is wrong. Here's what's happening. Idiots are just rushing and creating a quick PayPal account. They're
rushing.
Not any of their settings.
How does he know they're rushing? How does he know that's the problem? Because it's obvious that people make a PayPal account for either eBay or they do whatever. And they're just saying, guys, like, you know, just so you know, this happens if you have this, if, you know, this is what they see when you tip through PayPal. And it's not saying it's end all be all or whatever. It's just kind of saying like a discretion. And he's like saying that they're stupid and they're wrong. Like, dude, how does he know that people are rushing to make PayPal accounts? Like, this is really fucking stupid.
Any of the information they put in there, they're just rushing, creating, and sending money like morons. Okay?
How does he know this?
Any business anywhere on the planet, if you put in your personal info and immediately just fucking start doing transactions, you're gonna be sending your info everywhere.
But again, this is such a negative outlook. Like, again, the post was in good faith, telling people like, "Hey guys, be careful of this." Just as a warning, and he has such a negative outlook on it. It's like, fucking idiots. Like, this dude who is so scared, terrified of filming in his kitchen. He cannot film in his kitchen when he does DSP tries it. He can't take a picture of his TV anymore. He can't take a picture of his TV because he's afraid of personal information being leaked. Is sitting there making fun of people for being concerned about, oh my god, guys, their information might be leaked. Like, holy shit, dude. Come on.
Alright, you're a moron.
You're a moron.
That's what it is. People are so dumb that they basically don't want to take any responsibility for themselves. Is this a problem with with Twitter and PayPal? No. The problem was with the people using PayPal. They're idiots.
I think it's an issue with PayPal, though, because PayPal doesn't necessarily need to give people their addresses. Like, they don't need to do that. Like, they could, like, I think it'd be fine internet-wise to be like, hey, give the email, whatever, but I don't think PayPal, for the instance of tipping or whatever, needs to give any more than that. And DSP is, like, shitting on this. Like, but it's not the layman that's the problem. And he's saying that, all these people need to have all this information. This, like, DSP's shitting on these people for not having all this information, but DSP literally has done shit with no information or research, and he's like, how was I supposed to know this? Oh my god! They didn't tell me this! What the fuck? All that shit. But when other people have that same revelation, they're fucking idiots, they're fucking stupid. Like, this is so negative. And then he demands to get some pity because he didn't know any better. And this is what's kind of frustrating with all these people, like Wings, Rich, all these people who talk to about DSP like he's a little baby and he doesn't know any better. And he gives no one the same courtesy. Like, holy shit, dude. Come on.
They just think, I could just immediately just type in all personal info and start sending money and everything's good. No, stupid. Here's the way that PayPal works, and most people don't know how this works, okay? Here's how it works. When you create a PayPal account, PayPal will ask you for various information, okay? When that account is then created, you have different ways you can use that account. Now, PayPal, by default, assumes you're using your PayPal account to buy stuff. I don't know why. I think it's a very outdated way of thinking.
To buy stuff. The only thing they assume is that you're making a personal PayPal account. That can be to send money, receive money, whatever.
It might be because back in the day, PayPal was primarily associated with eBay. You would win an auction on eBay, send the funds, and then, mail me the item that I won on eBay or whatever. That's likely what it is. It's an incredibly outdated system. There's no reason why you should assume that a transaction on PayPal is a actual transaction that's a purchase of a good that needs to be mailed or anything like that. But it does. By default, it does. In fact, if someone tries to open a dispute for any kind of money sent, it actually says, can you prove that this transaction happened? Do you have shipping information? Like, shipping information? I'm a fucking live streamer. I don't ship anything. People are tipping me during the stream. Of course, I don't have shipping information. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that's how PayPal works. It's really set up as an archaic system, okay?
Now, he says this now. That's kind of what people are criticizing about this whole Twitter tip system, is that the system doesn't really work because it makes no sense for people to get your physical mailing address for all this stuff, etc. Again, it's more of a nuance, because especially like sites like, even with eBay, they literally ask you to put in your shipping address if you do win an auction. You don't necessarily need your shipping address to be linked to your PayPal for that to happen. Because they're like, you don't need it. Like, again, when the people are criticizing this is literally just like, again, DSP has such bad reading comprehension. He doesn't understand the criticism that people have with this, with the way that tipping works on Twitter is that there's no sorry. There was no oh my god, what am I like, you don't need to give all this information at all. Like, PayPal doesn't need to do that. And Deep's like, well, they're fucking idiots for this. Like, dude, like, they're criticizing the fucking system you just criticized, dumbass.
Now, as I've told you guys before, use due diligence. If you're going to be using online services, make sure that your information in there is protected. Don't just make a PayPal account and immediately start sending money to everyone on the internet like an idiot. You're a fucking moron. Of course you're going to kill yourself. You're sending out all your personal info. Your information in there is protected. Don't just make a PayPal account and immediately start sending money to everyone on the internet like an idiot. You're a fucking moron. Of course you're going to kill yourself.
Of course you're gonna kill yourself. What a great quote. Of course you're gonna kill yourself.
Sending out all your personal info. You're an idiot.
Wow.
Okay?
Great
When
slip.
you actually register your PayPal account, there's all these options. One of them is, do you want to have a public mailing address? Because if the answer is
where is this setting?
Yes, that's probably because you're buying things off of eBay, you're buying things that are transactions, and you don't want, well, you want your information public so people could just send it right to that address. You could just immediately just click, no, I don't want that. But no one does. This is what I mean. People are lazy idiots, and they rush through, don't look at any settings.
Lazy idiots.
So immediately,
lazy idiots, dude. This is the same dude who had Mr. Stupid 1 as his password and never changed the password ever since, or anything until the last minute. But you guys are dumb for doing this, okay? For not looking at the settings.
Oh, I'm going to send money to someone on Twitter. Oops, accidentally just doxed myself completely. My real name, my address, and everything. Yeah, because you're stupid.
Stupid.
Like, day one, when you register a PayPal account, you look through what information you put in there. You make sure that nothing that's private of yours goes public when you send someone funds. Like, how is that the responsibility of Twitter or PayPal exactly?
PayPal offers the website. Like, they don't need to keep your mailing address. Like DSP just doesn't understand what people talk about. I'm convinced DSP just didn't read anything, read the tweet, and didn't even try to comprehend what the criticism is. It's not necessarily saying, guys, PayPal leaks your address. It's like, it's them saying, like, it keeps your data, and then when you do this thing that's not a physical good or whatever the fuck, it acts as if it is, and it isn't. PayPal needs to update the system so that, you know, they could keep more information private to the user, etc. That's like what they're talking about. And DSP just can't think because he has a baby brain. He has a baby boomer brain.
It's not. It's the responsibility of the person. But people don't want to take responsibility. They want to act like, oh my god, everything is everyone else's fault, and what a terrible panic. I couldn't believe this tweet. This tweet now, at least when I was eating dinner, had 10,000 retweets. And I'm looking at it like, there's 10,000 idiots out there who don't know how PayPal works.
10,000 idiots.
That's probably like a million idiots who all think this is like a big problem. It's not. Just turn off the setting.
DSP, you get literal chargebacks because he has complained. He has complained about PayPal treating tips as if he's sending physical goods. He has made this complaint before. And he's getting mad when people have the same complaint. People are having the same complaint he is, and he's saying that they're idiots. DSP, you have the same complaint. Are you an idiot too? At this point, when he complains about chargebacks and all this stuff, he says you should just tell him it's not PayPal's fault, it's your fault, dumbass. And see how happy he gets. This dude is so full of shit. Come on.
Settings that dox you. Don't put your information in there and dox yourself. How stupid can you be? Anyway, I've told you guys many times that when you send a tip, right, I don't get any of your personal info. I don't get your name unless you want me to see it. I won't get any address info unless for some reason you want me to see it. In fact, I just, for the sake of argument, when I saw this on Twitter, I went today to my PayPal tips page and I looked. Every single transaction, no address, no address, no address. It actually says right there, no address on file, no address on file. Because the people are smart. People who tip me aren't morons. They don't just quickly create a default PayPal.
But not everyone tips people on Twitch. Not everyone does all this. Sometimes people use a credit card to do a direct payment sometimes. I mean, everyone's different. Everything's different, dude. Like, this is just
PayPal account rush through it with no checking
negative
and then start sending me money like idiots. They actually are smart. They look and say, here's my PayPal account that I use for intelligent stuff. Oh, I don't want anyone knowing my phone number. Hide that. I don't want anyone knowing my address. Hide that. It's so simple.
Where's these options,
they want to act like the sky is falling and barns are burning and everything is falling apart. Oh my God, you doxed yourself because you sent a tip. No, you're just stupid. Stupid people sent their personal information to other people. That should be actually what the tweet said. It shouldn't be, oh my God, you're going to look out, it gives your personal info out. No, it doesn't. You did. They did not. You did. My God, people are stupid.
My God. Idiots.
Okay. Anyway, it's funny because, of course, these idiots who are like, oh, Phil, see, now it's all over Twitter that you dox yourself.
See, this is the real reason why he's upset, is because people are saying all this. Now, like, come on, dude. Everything is different. Like, he should have just read the tweet and said, well, this isn't, like, pertaining to what I'm saying, because you can, like, hide your information, but it does suck. Like, he could have just said that, look, you can turn this off. You can turn off the ability to show your information and all this stuff, etc. But it is bullshit that PayPal, like, treats tips online as if it's, like, delivering physical goods. Like, they shouldn't be, like, that's what I was reading. I was reading the tweets about it, and some of it was bringing up that, like, PayPal doesn't really need to be keeping your address on file and sharing that information with other people. Like, you don't need to do that. And it shouldn't be the default, period. Like, because if you go to, like, eBay, doing an auction or whatever, you could type in the mailing address of the time you win or whatever. You don't have to, like, use PayPal for that.
When you use PayPal, no, stupid.
No, stupid.
If you're stupid, you dox yourself when you send a tip. Not if you're fucking just using it like a normal person who actually has a brain and goes through and checks settings before they start sending money to people all over the world.
Yeah, because everyone does this. Everyone sends money every day.
See? I agree with you. If Sylvan says the general population usually does have issues just using basic technology and checking options. You're right.
This dude didn't even know how to use Discord. Is making fun of people for not using PayPal. This dude even, like, oh my God. He didn't accept tips at all in, like, the end of 2016, early 2017. I think sometime in 2017 he started accepting tips because he didn't understand it. He didn't understand stream elements. He doesn't, and this dude doesn't understand how Super Chat works. Super Chat, which works exactly the same. He doesn't even know how chats work. He doesn't know how YouTube works. He doesn't understand anything, and he's making fun of people for not knowing about how PayPal works. And he's like, I don't know how you say. Okay, I can't go to YouTube right now because I don't understand how Super Chat works. Where do I read? Do I need to go into, like, another menu? Do I need a workaround to, like, see my Super Chats? Even though, like, it works literally the same way as bits. It goes to the same place. He doesn't know that. He has to learn that. He can't use Better Twitch TV. He has to learn that. He has to sit down for weeks and weeks to learn it. He doesn't know how to use bots. He doesn't know how to do anything. But these people who don't know how to use PayPal, wow, they're fucking idiots. They don't know how to use technology. Okay, DSP, tell him. He also had trouble finding the notifications in the PS5 menu. This dude is a fucking boomer, and he's making fun of other people for not going through settings. Like, look in the mirror, DSP. Look in the mirror.
You're right. That's the problem. So yeah, if you're stupid, you can accidentally dox yourself by using PayPal. Don't be stupid. As I've warned people many times on my streams, don't be stupid. If you're going to tip, make sure your personal information isn't sent to me. All I see is what you want me to see. If you want me to see your name, it's there. If not, you can hide it or change it.
How?
If you want me to see a particular email address, have that one associated with your PayPal account. If you make it so that I can see your phone number, then that's your fault.
That's your fault.
But I don't want to see your phone number, and no one who tips me. Do I get any of their personal info because they're not stupid?
Stupid.
There you go. All right. So I want to get that out of the way before we even started recording because, as you can see, there were already 3-4 morons in the stream who were trying to fucking bring stuff up like that and be like, oh, see, Phil, you were wrong. And no, I'm not wrong. You're just stupid. You're just
stupid.
A fucking idiot.
Idiot.
Who believes every dumb thing that you hear on the internet from a bunch of fucking uneducated morons. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay. So now I got that out of the way, right? Now I got that out of the way. And, Now we can actually have some chill baseball action. Shout out to Bulletproof and Big Papa Phil, both of which who were basically clicking on their resub messages, even though there's no more subbing for over 2 weeks now. It's hilarious that it's still...
He still doesn't understand how to turn off the sub notifications. He's still... The dude who made fun of people for not knowing how to use PayPal doesn't know he could go into Stream Elements and turn off sub notifications. Pretty funny, huh? What an idiot. Stupid. Fucking idiot. He doesn't know how to use a website.
Allows you to do it, right? Okay.
Oh my god,
just like, you know, the other thing that gets me? Oh, well, if I use forums, you can see my IP address. Yeah. Literally any forums on the entirety of the internet that you go to and you make an account, people who run the forums can see your IP address.
No, let me answer this. In the comments below, answer me this. Who do you trust more with your IP address? That, like, you go to a website, it logs your IP, right? Who do you trust more? Let's say Twitter, YouTube, I'm trying to think of like mainstream websites. Fox.com, NBC, whatever. Okay, these mainstream websites. Do you trust them with your IP, or do you trust this individual dude named DSP who did a video in the past where he said, "I have your IP, I have your address, you fucked up"? Who do you trust more? With your IP address? DSP, the guy who did that, or mainstream media, mainstream websites? Because I can tell you, I think probably the mainstream websites are not going to go on TV and say, "This dude made a post, I have his IP, I have his address, you fucked up." Ha! I don't think anyone's going to do that on TV, but DSP did that on his YouTube channel. You can even watch it now. It's, I think, the second DMCA strike video. It's the one with the awesome one. That one. So, you tell me who you trust more.
Yes. 1,000,000% yes, that's correct. There's not a single website on
Also, keep in mind that he has KG as a mod, and KG, as far as I understand it, because this was kind of before my time, like, it seeped into my time a little bit, but KG also docks people, too, through IP addresses. So, you have KG there, baby.
Internet, that you register for forums and use them and people can't see your IP address. That's how you log in. But people don't understand that. Like, huh? What? My IP address, so I've been doxxed. No, stupid. That's how it always works since day one. People are that stupid.
So then why did DSP get so nervous when he clicked that Super Puppy link? Remember when he clicked the Super Puppy link and he was like, "Oh my god, I clicked the link! Oh my god, I gotta guess now! Oh my god!" Ah! He was like so scared, dude. And he had to call Comcast. But man, these other people they're scared about their IP address. Fuck you, dude. Okay, obviously.
Stupid. Anyway.
Stupid.
Let's go ahead and let's actually play some games tonight, okay? I just can't take it. The stupidity of these people. Okay. Benzugo lives if you really want that information. You shoot me an email, oh my god. Shoot me an email and I can tell you later. I'm not going to talk about it, publicly on the stream here. But, I will look into it for you if you'd like me to see. Because, hey, everyone has a right to know what kind of information they're actually sending out there to the public. Everyone has a right to know. And, for example, Benzugo just asked me, he's like, I tipped you earlier. I'm just curious what information of mine is in there when I send you a tip. Do I need to actually click a setting to hide some personal info? I'd be more than happy to tell you later. All right? Just not going to do it on the stream, obviously. But I can tell you later. Okay?
I can tell you later. All right. I think that'll be it for this stream. Video. Obviously. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you had fun. It was a fun time. I'm gonna try to stream tomorrow. Saturday. I'm gonna try to stream Persona 4. Try. Because I don't know if I'm gonna be doing anything else, but thank you for watching. I hope you had fun with this video. We learned a lot. We learned that when you go to DSP's Patreon, you should just pledge and not think about it. Don't think, just pledge when you go to DSP's Patreon, obviously. He still did not update his rewards. His rewards are great. His $10 one is like the best one. You get nothing for it. Literally nothing. Pretty cool. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you had a good time watching this. Have a good weekend. Hope to see you when I see ya. And see you next time. Bye-bye!